evening. Welcome to the Chuck and Ruck Show. I am your co-host, the most electrifying one in podcast entertainment. I am the Ruck. Co-hosting with me is my man, the wise one, the man who's seen it all and been through it all. My
What
man,
up?
Chuck.
What up?
Chuck,
What up?
what's
Yes,
going on,
sir.
Chuck? How you doing this evening, brother?
Oh man, I'm just chilling, ready to get into it.
Good. Glad to hear that. Okay, tonight's topic at hand today. We talk about home run derby champion Juan Soto and his curious trade demands that's going on right now. Where would he go, and how much will he sign for? Also on today's topic, today we talk about also Mad Dog Russo and his top 5 college football most prestigious. Agree or disagree? Well, let's find out today. Ready to get this going?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I've been
Then-
ready for this.
All right, then let's hop into it. So, Juan Soto, who, as you all know, who's been asking for a trade after his trade demand, after his contract negotiations have went sour. It all started about a year ago when he first turned down his deal, which was, I recall, 10 years. I forgot the exact amount, was over 300 million. But recently now, he turned down 15 years and 440 million, and things have taken a turn for the worst. So much so that after his All-Star trip, the Nationals completely turned down his charter flight and forced him to fly commercial back to Washington. Yeah, like that's just petty right there. But after everything that's all said and done, Chuck, I have to ask, where do you think will he go, and where do you think he'll go, and how much do you think he may potentially sign it for? And just overall, how do you feel about all of this?
Okay. I'm gonna start where I would like him to go. It's probably the obvious answer.
And that's the obvious answer.
I would love for him to come to the Guardians. I mean, the guy is amazing, man. Like, since he's been in the league, he's been like the top of every statistical category. I mean, could you imagine a lineup, with him hitting in the middle? Like, that's almost unfair. But the thing is, like, the amount of prospects you would have to give. Because right now, it's like the Guardians, I heard we have like the eight out of the top 100 prospects. So, I'm betting probably 5 or 6 of them will have to go just for Soto. You would get them for 2.5 seasons, possibly 3 chances at the playoffs. My mind telling me one of the big teams gonna get him, maybe the Yankees or the Mets. And, San Diego, they've been spending money like crazy. It's always the St. Louis Cardinals. They always out there lurking as well. We can't forget about the Angels. They seem like they just print money because they paying everybody. But yeah, like I said, I would love for him to come to the Guardians, but I doubt it. He gonna go somewhere, and I'm willing to bet he gonna get over 500 million. If he's able to keep up this production when it's all said, I mean, in a couple years when he's an actual free agent, his deal is probably gonna be a half a B.
No doubt. He will, but when it's all said and done, he'll be the first half a billion player in baseball history. But going into what you were saying here, you mentioned about we're having it. Yes, you read that correctly. A couple weeks ago, Terry Pluto put out an article. I believe it was Terry Pluto put out an article that we have out of all the baseball clubs that's out there, like all the major league clubs, we have the 8th best talent pool of prospects in the entire league. We had the 8th best. So in terms of a potential deal that could be put together, we could have the juiciest package to be put together to make a deal for Juan Soto, which I wouldn't mind for us to get. I mean, my philosophy on some occasions about having prospects is you either could use them to do the situation what the Astros have done, minus the whole sign stealing and cheating ordeal, but you do what the Astros have done. You take all those prospects that you have, and then you build them properly, and then you can build yourself a championship contender. It's what the Astros have done. It's what the Braves have done. And look at those two teams. They are true contenders to this day. They're true contenders right now. Same thing for the Rays. It seems like the Rays, all they ever do is it's like they just a prospect machine left and right. Like they don't ever go out and get free agents and everything. Their prospect window is just ever fluid. It's like they never rebuild. They just retool for like almost 20 some years now. Like it's incredibly impressive how the Rays just ever fluctuate with their talent pool. They go from Evan Longoria to Carl Crawford to freaking Scott Kazmir. I mean, now they got Wander Franco, who the first guy that signed over $200 million with that team. That's just ever impressive, like in that regard. But the point I'm making is that Tampa Bay just fluctuates with talent, and because of how they just generate prospects and everything. So on one end, I could understand your mindset about not giving up prospects like that, but also sometimes you can use those prospects to go for the goal to a particular degree. And I feel in this case, if you're the Guardians, this will be the perfect move for it. Like, I look at it like this. You already have a young core already set up. Like Steve Kwan, a great outfielder. You have a great outfielder, Steve Kwan. You potentially also, you have great starting. You have two aces as your starters, like Shane Bieber. Still, I know he's had rough shakeups this year because of injury. He's still recovering from an injury, and he hasn't been the guy that's been a former Cy Young winner, but the guy still can go out there and still get you quality innings and still get you quality starts. And he's still Shane Bieber on any given moment. You still have to fear that. And then you got my personal favorite pitcher in the league in Sticks, Tristan McKenzie. Like the last start that guy had, he dished out 7 innings and struck out 12. Like when that guy is on, when that guy is on and he's got it going, I don't know who's a better pitcher than him right now, in my personal opinion. Like you got him, and you clearly saw what Emmanuel Clase could do when he's got it going. A triple-digit closer that could dish out 100 miles an hour with a wicked slider. I mean, that's a recipe for this. That's a recipe for success, in my opinion. So, to me, if I was the Guardians, I would heavily consider making that move to basically try to make that move for Soto. And also, I know money is a factor here, and you really don't want. I can understand not being that first team to sign that player to $500 million, but we got new ownership coming in here. It would be a positive note to basically make a good impression to sign that good player. It would make a good impression. I mean, let's be honest here. Donors are not really popular per se. They left a bad impression on this fan base for the better part of over 10 years here. I mean, with their cheap labor, with how they've been handling this team and everything. Yeah, they done good strides with the ballpark and whatnot, but have they really been selling out seats other than 2016? Other than 2016 and everything? No. I mean, they had the one stretch, but they complained about it. So, I mean, for the new ownership that's basically coming in here and is on the verge of taking it over, this will be a very good way to get off on the right track with the fan base. But I feel, unfortunately, I don't see that move happening. It will be out of their reach. Now, who I feel will probably get it, probably San Diego. I think the Padres desperately need this type of move to happen. And I think, and I read somewhere personally that they want Fernando Tatis and Juan Soto to link together.
Ooh.
Especially now, also they want Fernando Tatis and Juan Soto to link together to be that lethal tag team in that lineup. Also, we gotta remember they did lose Manny Machado for the year with his injury, so it will also make sense for them to try to find that replacement. So I look for the Padres to really push that move. Funny thing you mentioned the Angels too, because yes, I could see the Angels try to make that move, but considering the Angels and their situation that they're in, you got Mike Trout, who's over $400 million. You got probably the best pure baseball player in all of baseball, Shohei Ohtani, and yet you're still 10 games under 500.
Now, I got a question. I got a scenario for you.
Okay.
If you were the Guardians and they said, you know, hey, give us Bieber, give us a couple other your prospects. Okay. Are you willing to give up Bieber and a handful of our top prospects for only 2.5 years of Soto?
See, here's the thing. I know it wouldn't come to that. It wouldn't come to just giving up Bieber. It wouldn't come. I know for a fact they wouldn't give up Bieber. You would have to give up like your top tier prospects. Like you will give up your top tier prospects, like someone like Daniel Espinosa, someone like Gabriel Arias, maybe probably the gold mine would be I believe his name is George Valera, the true top tier prospect in the Guardians farm system. But knowing how Mike Chernoff and I can't think his name right now. Wow, it's embarrassing. I cannot think his name right now. But Chris Antonetti.
Yeah, Antonetti.
Knowing how Chris Antonetti and Mike Chernoff would think, I could not possibly see them giving up Valera like that. I couldn't see them giving him up like that unless it will have to be something like unforeseen. But I could see them giving up Gabriel Arias. I could probably see them giving up probably like Logan Allen, maybe even Oscar Gonzalez once he gets off an injury. But I could probably see them giving up something like that, and maybe a pro, probably like Zach Plazak, something like that. But and some other pieces as well too. But giving up Shane Bieber and some prospects, yeah, I don't. That couldn't possibly. That would not fall at all.
See, the reason I say Bieber, you know, I'm probably in a minority. I think Bieber is a little overrated. I mean, you know, he had the Cy Young, and you know, he's a good pitcher, but I don't like the type. I'm not sure how many years of arbitration he has left, but I know eventually he's going to want to get paid. So chances are he's going to leave anyway. But, you know, for a once in a generational type player like Soto, I would probably give up anybody besides Jose. Like, you can have him. You know, just to keep it a buck. I would, you know, they can have him, man.
I'm on 3 players I wouldn't give up. I wouldn't give up Jose. I wouldn't give up Clase, and I wouldn't give up Tristan McKenzie. I think people don't really understand how good Tristan McKenzie could really be. Like when I saw him, what he did the other day, striking out 12 like that, that's something special. Especially he had that outing against the Yankees too. Like Tristan McKenzie is going to be a very special pitcher. He's going to be very special. Like, he has a high fastball. He has good control. He has good control. He can be at times inconsistent with it, but when he got his control down pat and he's got everything going, Tristan McKenzie is going to be a nasty pitcher at one point when he gets everything down pat. Like Trevor Bauer, and I know it's an unpopular name nowadays, but Trevor Bauer was the same way when he was out of control with his mechanics and everything. He just looked everywhere. But when he got his stuff under control, Trevor Bauer was a damn good pitcher. Just on the field, he was just good. Off the field, though, that's another issue. But
yeah, Bauer is he got 2 years, so he
2 years
for
pretty much so. He's pretty much done with his career. But that's, like I said, that's a whole nother issue. But and also Emmanuel Clase, like Emmanuel Clase, it's one thing to have a fastball that goes triple digits and you could top, and you're almost approaching Aroldis Chapman levels of fastball quality, going like 102, almost 104 miles an hour on your fastball. But when you basically could throw a slider that can go like 95 or 94, you something special.
Oh yeah, Clase, he's a beast, man. He's we got that back end of the bullpen sold up. I like McKenzie. I think he got a very bright future. But like I said, man, just see, like, okay, my thinking is like that's one thing about the Guardians / Indians. Like, it seems like they willing to give up prospects in the right move when they feel it's the right time. Like when we got his name escaped my mind from I think Miller from the Yankees.
You talk about Andrew Miller.
Yeah. I remember, a lot of people were complaining like we gave up too much for him, and we shouldn't be doing all this for a reliever. But
man, I remember that move so much.
Oh yeah, I mean, we didn't win. We didn't win at all. We came within this close, but I think the move, looking at hindsight, it was worth it. So what's that?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no. I was saying if the Guardians did make a move, like it's a long shot, they probably wouldn't. But if they did make a move like this with Soto and gave up the prospects, I wouldn't question them. I just ride with it and let the chips fall where they may, because they always think they got a good handle on a farm system. Like even if you think they're giving up their top prospects, they got somebody in AA or over in Akron that's they feel can fill that void.
Right. I'll say this about Andrew Miller. That team was incredibly constructed and they were clutch. That was a clutch team. They won games that year they should not have won. But we went to the World Series because of Andrew Miller. If it wasn't for him, we would not have been in the World Series. Like, that's pure and simple. That dude carried us in games and in stretches, and we had no business doing it. Like, that dude was dogging innings for us that we had no business doing. Like, that dude put us on our back, and I miss that dude. I'll just put it that way. I miss that dude. But see, in situations like that, and you make a very good point, in situations like that where the right trade has to come to mind for your prospects. And I personally feel, and I agree with you, I personally feel this type of move will be necessary for the Guardians, because I also look at it like this, like you look at our lineup 1 through 9, and there's only a handful of people that you know that can step up to the batter's box that can deliver for you on a consistent basis. I mean, I'm not trying to be harsh. I'm not trying to be a douchebag or anything, but like I look at it like this: you got Stephen Kwan, you got Josh Naylor, you got obviously you got Jose Ramirez, and I mean I may be missing somebody, but I look at that. That's just about it on consistency that can step up to the box and that that can deliver consistently. The others, you have to basically get on your hands and knees and be biting your fingernails and praying that they can do that. They can step up and deliver for you, basically.
Oh yeah, we put Soto in the middle of this lineup. That would secure a lot. The pitchers would feel better because they would know they don't got to go out and give up 1 run. They give up 2 or 3 runs. They feel like they done lost already. That would definitely put us in that situation. I would, like I said, I would love it. I'm pretty sure a lot of fans would. You would have some that'll be complaining and worrying about the prospects, but not all the prospects turn out to be, what we expect. So, that's why being a GM, is one of the toughest jobs, man, because you gotta be on it.
Yeah, definitely do. Final question on this, and I'll end it with this note. By a season's end and start of postseason, Juan Soto will be a blank.
I'm gonna say he's still with Washington. I'm gonna say he's still there. I'm gonna say he's still there because I heard their asking price is ridiculous. So, I can see him moving probably in the off season. Where teams can sit down and come up with the best trade packages. But I'm gonna say he's still gonna be there. What about you?
If it wasn't for the incident that took place that happened at the All-Star game involving him and the charter flight and the commercial flight, because I'm gonna tell you this, pride has a way with people, with anybody, and I think that was a pride-stricken move. That's gonna do some serious damage to that dude's ego and pride, and I think that's gonna take him the heck off. Which hell, that will do to me regardless. He's gonna get traded. He's definitely gonna get traded, and I think it's gonna happen pretty soon. But if I had to say, I don't see like the Yankees or the Red Sox. I don't see none of them doing it. I can probably say though, by season's end, he'll be in the Padres uniform. I think the Padres really need to figure out a way to replace the bat of Manny Machado. And I get the vibe this is almost a do or die situation for them and everyone that pretty much constructed that team that's on there. Like the general manager and everything, because over the last, what was it, like 3 or 4 years, they invested a lot of money into that team. Getting Manny Machado, getting Eric Hosmer, getting Yu Darvish, getting Mike Clevenger, getting all those individuals there. And they have nothing to show for it. Absolutely nothing. So I feel as though like this is they are approaching do or die their territory.
No,
so they have.
Oh my bad.
No, go ahead.
I did want to say I do got a dark horse, and my dark horse is the Mets. Because they're another team that's been investing all that money, in Lindor, and they might be a Juan Soto away from winning it all. So like I said, I don't think he's gonna move until the offseason, but if I had to pick, it would probably probably to be the Mets. You know, I think that's a team to watch out for.
See, I would have said the Mets, but I think the issue with them is I don't think they have the necessary I don't think they have what Washington wants for that to happen. And then not even just that, they're in the same division.
Yeah.
I don't really see how Washington would even have the gall to even possibly trade with them in the same division. I just don't see it. I just don't possibly see that. But then again, never say never. Damage things could possibly happen.
Oh yeah. They, you know, somebody come up with that right package. You know, one thing for certain, he not gonna be there long term. So they better get what they can get, because this guy turned on 400 plus million. Sheesh.
440 million.
Must be nice.
Hey, I couldn't turn that down. I don't care who it is. I'm saying yes to that regardless.
That's that live golf tour money, man.
Yeah, that definitely is. But moving on to a much different sport here. So those that don't know, I have a personal grudge of this era that is the hot take era. I can't stand individuals that love to sit here that just have to spew out nonsense just for the thrill of the hot take. An individual that does that more than anything is Chris Russo, aka the Mad Dog. I mean, after all, this is the same MF that sat here that had the ball sack to sit here and say that Bob Cousy was the greatest point guard to ever play the game. Yeah, that guy. So today on First Take, he had a very interesting argument today about the five most prestigious college football programs ever. This was him taking over Stephen A's A-list for those that don't watch First Take. So Chuck, number 5, Oklahoma. 4, USC, University of Southern California. Number 3, Alabama. Number 2, Michigan. And number 1, Notre Dame. I can ask questions about why. I have several questions about that. Like, why the hell Ohio State wasn't in there? But I'll save that for my piece till later. But Chuck, let me ask you about this. Agree or disagree with that top 5?
I disagree. You know, like I said, even though I'm not an Ohio State fan, you know, I'm you know, believe it or not, you know, I like Alabama. I always have liked Alabama. But, you know, Ohio State definitely needs to be on that list. I mean, the Big Ten is represented with Michigan, but, you know, Ohio State definitely needs to be on that list. You know, somewhere, you know, the tough part is picking somebody to kick off the list, you know, to put them on. But, you know, Ohio State, you know, like I said, they need to be on the list. You know, Miami, you know, the Hurricanes, they had a lot of success. You know, some of the greatest NFL players ever then came from there. So, you know, they another team that need to be, you know, somewhere within that list. But like I said, you know, I'm cool with a lot of the teams on there, you know, Alabama on there, but you know, it is what it is.
So, okay. So the issue that I have with that is he based that list off of national championships, Heisman trophies, and All-Americans. There's a lot of double standards in regards to that list, because the funny thing that you mentioned the U. Okay. if you're gonna mention USC to being on there, okay, that makes sense. The USC being on there, they have a lot of history on there. They've had national championships on there. They had tons of they had Heisman trophies on there. They had All Americans on there, and they had success on there. But okay, they've also had question marks in their history as well too. Same as Oklahoma. Oklahoma's had question marks in their history. So if you're going to put them on there, why not put the U? Why not put the U on there? Let's see here. How many athletes have been in there and have prestigious and have history on there with athletes being in the NFL? I mean, at one point the U was in fact pretty much like a prep school for the NFL. I mean, how many cats been in there that have been NFL success? Like, we can go from names from Ray Lewis, from Michael Irvin, from Clinton Portis, from freaking
Don't even mention
Andre
Portis,
Johnson.
man. Don't even. I was so upset when we didn't take him, man. Don't even mention that guy, man.
I mean, but like the list goes on.
We take William Green.
Anyways, I mean, but like the list goes on and on for successful me. Or the Andre Johnson, Santana Moss. I mean, like this hell. I mean, probably one of the most successful actors in history came from there.
Oh yeah, yo boy.
I mean, right, the great one. Hell, my name is partially came from him. For goodness sake. Like, I mean, it's just I have issues why he didn't put that on there. But then again, Ohio State, why are they not on there? Why is Ohio State not on there? Hell, the only player in college football history to win the Heisman Trophy back to back. Like, there's so much that's issues on there. Like, but then again, I have another question though. Notre Dame number one. Why not Alabama? Why is Alabama not number one?
Oh yeah.
I don't love Alabama like you do. Like I don't really like Alabama, but I do respect the hell out of Alabama for what they have done. Like, anytime that you can sit here, it's one thing to have one coaching guy, but you have two. You have two, I think, in your lore. Paul Bryant and Nick Saban. You have two coaching guys in your history. That says a lot about your program. That says a whole lot. And they're not number one. They're number 3.
Now, only thing about Alabama, like before they got Saban, you know, they had a little time period where they, you know, weren't, you know, one of the top teams, you know, that you can pencil in every year that's gonna be, you know, fighting for that you know, that conference championship. But, you know, that wasn't but so long, you know, ever since what? How long Saban in there? About 15 years now, something like that?
Something like that, yeah. About 12, 15 years, basically.
Every year you can pencil them in for 12, 13 wins.
Okay. Funny thing that you mentioned that, by the way. A funny thing that you mentioned that, because see, why you sit here and why you say that, I got a question for you. Can't you say the same thing about Notre Dame? You could say the thing about Notre Dame. If it wasn't for Brian Kelly, who wasn't there for 12 years, where was Notre Dame?
Yeah.
Like, they had that stretch where they put, other than the 1 year that Charlie Weiss took over that team, there wasn't nothing. There was embarrassment. They were a laughingstock.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, I'm just being honest here. Like, we sat here, like, if you're gonna say, like, I'm just wondering, like, yes, I get it. Back in the days when Lou Holtz took that team over, and Lou Holtz had that stretch and everything, they did have that prestigious thing. They had that prestige and honor. I get that. But how is it that you can sit here and try to say that their Notre Dame is more prestigious than Alabama right now? Like, even though Alabama lost in the national championship game against Georgia, that still doesn't take away the success that they have had in pretty much on the last like 15 some years right now. Like it's like you said, you could pencil in Alabama to be in the contention for a national championship game, right? This every year now. They don't rebuild, they retool, just like Ohio State does at this point. You can't necessarily pencil in Ohio State to be in the national championship, but you could pencil them in to win the Big Ten.
Oh yeah, every year they in the running, you know, and you can,
right,
you know, it's kind of like you said, a lot of these guys it's just all hot takes, you know. When they preparing this stuff, they know it's gonna be controversial, you know. That's why they say these things, and you know, like even putting Alabama number 3, you know, I mean, I know it's recent and, you know, but they got history spanning decades, you know, and Notre Dame, man, like, what have they done? You know, what are they going to do? Are they going are they going to join? Are they going to go to the Big Ten?
They're not going nowhere. But that's about all the time that we have for today. Thank you for the time. Thank you for giving us our time and pleasure for joining us. Next time on our lovely show, it's beginning of the football season. Power rankings time. Early prediction for power rankings, and then early award season. Get the award ready. Until then, this is the Ruck, and that's Chuck. Good night, everybody.